What's going on, everybody? It's time for another Voxx Verdict video, and today myself, Jess, and Tvan are going to be discussing North Macedonia's entry for Eurovision 2021. They've invited back Vasil, who is the artist that was internally selected for 2020. The song he's going to be bringing this year is called Here I Stand, and we're going to be sharing our thoughts on the song as well as how we feel it might be performing at Eurovision. So let's discuss.
This is how we found our way. This is how we found our way. Here I stand. My walls are down, my heart's in your hand.
So I think it must be said that of the returning artists from Eurovision 2020, Vasil is one of the artists that has brought something completely different to his entry last year, You. I'm curious, Tvan, how do you feel about Here I Stand?
Last year, I wasn't a big fan of You, but I also didn't really dislike it. I was just kind of neutral on it. However, this year, I really like his song Here I Stand. I think it's absolutely beautiful. He's got a almost operatic voice, which I'm a massive fan of. I love opera. And the meaning behind the song is very good. It's, well, we've seen it before, but it works. I think it really works. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned the operatic qualities of his voice, and he has performed. He was an opera singer for many, many years, and he participated in singing contests. So definitely showing off his vocal chops. Jess, is this a song that you're enjoying?
No. I'm gonna kind of bring the mood down a little bit. I kind of think that Here I Stand is kind of quite cheesy and, for me, just a little bit boring in the sense that it doesn't really kind of excite me, or it doesn't make me kind of really happy when I'm listening to it. And I feel like it's a bit of a come down from his song last year. But like, what I will say is that, he's got an amazing voice, and I think this song is great to showcase that. And it is like a very, even though I said it was cheesy, it kind of has its big moments and it has its kind of lovely sounding moments, but it's just a song that doesn't kind of do anything for me, I'm afraid. I love kind of his voice and like everything else, but just, yeah.
Fair enough. I'm sure that you're not alone when it comes to not really feeling the song, because when it comes to Eurovision entries and the Eurovision fandom, this doesn't really fit in that box for, well, obviously people have different tastes, but this isn't necessarily like a runaway winner that some of the other entries are. But I will start with some positives, and both of you attributed qualities to his voice. Vasil's a gem. He might be one of the best vocalists this year. And I think that he will have the opportunity to really demonstrate that with this song. And it should also be said that he is showing a tremendous amount of vulnerability, which takes quite a bit of courage to do. And I think that if he's able to communicate the story effectively enough, the story of this song, then maybe people will recognize that. I do recognize that this isn't necessarily the most competitive Eurovision entry, and especially because, again, he's got this personal story that he's telling through the song. Of course, when it comes to Eurovision, you're not just representing yourself, but you're also representing a nation. And, there is an expectation as far as, like, what's the right way to put this? It's great to see him being so vulnerable, but maybe some people might see that as the moment being more about him than about the contest overall. But with that said, I do think that what we've seen from Eurovision in the last few years is that people are responding really well to personal stories. So if the rest of Europe can feel what he's feeling, and I've seen certain people make comparisons to songs from Disney movies, and the song's definitely very theatrical. So there is potential here, but when we're talking about competitive potential, I'm sure that none of us would say that this is a safe song to qualify. Twan, how do you feel about this?
For me, the first time that I listened to it, I got kind of emotional and I immediately loved it. Even though it kind of grew off me, but I still really love it. If it can also have this instant impact on the casual viewer, I think it's got a chance to qualify, but I don't know.
Okay, and Jess, how do you feel?
For me, I think North Macedonia is a non-qualifier, just because I feel like of all the competition that he's up against in the semi-final, I don't think his song is strong enough to kind of overcome this all these other songs to make it into the top 10 qualifiers. So if he does, I think I would be quite surprised.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's got one of the best voices. So if he's really able to wow people, then maybe people will it'll be enough to vote for him. But you mentioned something which I think is it's probably more articulate than the way that I put it. But this is the most competitive semifinal. He's also in the first half, which tends to be a more difficult spot to make a qualification. So it does seem like the odds are stacked against him. But in this case, it's for me, it's that I'm cheering more for the artist than I am for the song. Vasil is one of the few people that I can actually say I've seen perform live, and he is amazing live. He just draws you in with his voice and his presence. So hopefully that will have the same effect when it comes to Eurovision. So let's deliver a verdict on North Macedonia's song for this year. Beginning with you, Twan, how do you feel? What's the reaction that you give to Here I Stand?
I am going to give it a smiley face.
Okay. Jess?
So in no surprise to anyone, I'm going to give it a sad face, just purely for the fact that the song I'm not so keen on.
Okay. For me, I'm going to give this the chin scratch emoji. Not a favorite song, but not one that I dislike. I think that it could definitely be won over by a solid vocal performance, and I would expect that from someone like Vasil. So I've got high hopes for him. Let's go to the rest of the team. We've got, I can't say that it's a surprise, but we got 10 people with side face emojis, unfortunately. 6 people who are like me. I got the chin scratch emoji. Another 6 people have the neutral face. 8 people who like the song. So, definitely not one that's being completely unappreciated by the Eurovoxx team. And we've got one person in there with heart eyes. So close to a favorite for at least one member. Sadly, no Fuegos, but anything can change. Maybe our opinions will change by the time we see it on the Eurovision stage. And maybe it's different for you. Let us know what you think about North Macedonia's entry for Eurovision 2021. And be sure to subscribe to Eurovoxx, because we're going to be discussing all 39 songs that are participating for Eurovision this year. We will see you next time for Voxx Verdict. And until then, take care.